Welcome to Center of Light Radio with my homie Eden
Yo,
Sky. How you doing, brother?
I'm good.
You ready to get down and have some fun? Or get in and have some fun?
Yes.
Let's see who's here. I'm going to acknowledge everyone. Abigail Noel. What's up, Abigail? Boy, talk about fire. Abigail Noel. Kim Gary, L. Wood, Carl Laperoux, Judy Young, Joyce, Nicole, Lincoln, Sandy. All these beautiful, sexy human beings. Paige Fitzpatrick. Paige is Pete, your brother. If he is, I love that man. Nori Love is here. Wendy, Trudy, Debbie, Kelly, Joyce. We're all going to rejoice and have some fun. So tonight we're talking about, check this out. I don't know how this came into my... Hello, Keith. Do a burst of light on this. So tonight we're talking about... Actually, you know me, I like playing with titles. I like the double and triple entendres. So Eden is now living with his dad. Dear Lord, God is good. That boy, young man is good. And so I said, I need a fun-filled title about the third eye. And we tossed some things around. And what did you say?
I got it. The apple of my third eye.
We're talking about the apple of my third eye. Yes, and it's great. And so we came up with this banner. And believe it or not, I have just two definitions or two explanations of the third eye, but also the medical staff known as the caduceus. Also, the kundalini. In Western medicine, they call it the medical staff. Eastern philosophy, they call it kundalini. Welcome back, Kim Delaney, dear friend of mine in England. So tonight, myself, Eden Sky, we are going to spin a web of light. We're going to talk about the third eye. We're going to also delve into this pictogram, this idea. There is more inherent in this very simple image than you can imagine. This is explaining to all of us through pictures, through imagery, a universal idea. We know that we spoke about the kundalini, the medical staff, the caduceus. We know about the third eye, which is the brow chakra. We see Buddha sitting in the lotus flower. Lotus flowers grow in muddy, murky water, but yet it becomes this beautiful flower. And then we have the apple of my third eye tree. I have an idea where this is going to go to. The apple tree, apple of my eye. Welcome to Center of Light Seeing. Third eye. Seeing is not necessarily this. This allows us to see, but remember, it's equally important to look.
I know. Let me say something. This allows you to perceive, physically. This allows you to perceive spiritually.
Correct, sir. The apple of my third eye sits right here. The nut doesn't fall far from the tree. So, seeing, a blind man once said, listen to this. Since we're talking about the third eye, it is it's a reality. The third eye. A blind man once said, it does not require sight to climb Mount Everest. Instead, it requires vision. This is a different way of seeing entirely. We can call this seeing, but again, we must look, which is an intention. Looking would be the passion. It would be the active. Seeing would be the softer part, the passive. I'm just seeing. Hopefully, we can see without judgment, which gives us a greater capacity of actual vision. Not only be able to see what is really happening in this present moment to its fullest potential, because dear Lord, I can see, but it helps us to create vision for the future. Hope is always about the future. In the words of Andy on the Shawshank Redemption, he said, Hope is a beautiful thing. Probably the best of things, and no beautiful thing can ever die. We're talking about the capacity to take in information. Yes, we take in radiated light when we see with our eyes, like you just so wisely said. But when we begin to open this puppy up, it looks like a pine cone. Really, it does. The eye of Horus. It's been talked about in many teachings. In fact, Jesus Christ said, when thine open up the single, I'm going to paraphrase it. When thine open up the single eye or the one eye, then it basically becomes announced. You can see everything as the light that it is. Let me ask you something. Being 14 years old, very young, moving into your adolescence, but your manhood, what is it like to be you, to see? Do you understand everything that your dad is sharing in this moment, and the things you know I'm about, and the things that you've read? Does that seem to be a natural part of you, or do you have to actually try to think about it to understand it? Does it seem very easy for you to take that in?
It's almost always like easy for me to get something, whether it's like what you do, all this, or something simple like math. It's always easy.
His thing is math, and I would say because you were very fluent in math, this would have to be open to be able to grasp the math of being able to see and having vision and capacity, because in the light is the math. And no matter how much you deduce math down to, it actually comes down to 1. In fact, it comes down to less than 1. It comes down to 0, which is nothing or no thing. 0 is not a number. It is an idea. It is the highest idea. No thing. If you look at the definition of 0, paraphrase, get them Webster's and look up the definition of 0. It says, the point on a graduated scale where both polarities are reckoned. It means balance. It's not the positive.
It is the middle ground.
It's the middle. And the Buddha says, if you tune the string too tight, it'll break. If you tune it too loose, it won't play. It's the middle way.
It's the perfect note.
It's being in the center. So this is the gate. The gate is a 0. It's a hole. Not only is it an H-O-L-E hole, it's W-H-O-L-E whole. It's the wholeness.
It's empty.
Holy.
And it's
empty.
whole.
It's empty and it's whole. So you get that.
Yes.
And in that place is everything. In the nothing is everything. And god dang it, that should be something. Keith Blanchard, Yanava, Ya, heart. God, will. Na, the mind, reason, intelligence, being clear. Third eye seeing. Va is the backbone, action. Putting these things inward, which is metaphorically upward, which is forward, toward something. Inward is upward, upward is forward, which is toward our best future. Do you have the fire in you to integrate that and graduate into that? But you must begin to initiate it. I'm going to come back shortly with my beautiful son, Eden Sky, who is now living with his dad full time, which I'm delighted about, overjoyed. Rough 3 days, PC, computer issues, getting my son transferred here, schooling and registration. But we're going to register into the apple of my third eye. We're going to be talking about the caduceus medical staff, Eastern philosophy, which is the kundalini, rising up through the chakra system as you see over to your right, the person meditating. The red chakra, the orange chakra, the yellow chakra, the green, the light blue, the indigo, and the violet. Do you think this is coincidence? Do you think this is mere coincidence that we have these colors in the rainbow? And out of those 4 colors is one of those 7 colors are one of the 7 notes on the major musical scale. Do you think this is coincidence? It's not. It's reality, it's truth, it's spiritual, it's science. It is what is. So we're going to be covering all this ground. Going to be right back with presentation, The Apple of My Third Eye, Ian Sky and I. Living your Yanava. See you shortly.
Trust that I will guide you in whatever you do. Just remember to breathe and do your very best to live in love, give in love, be in love, and love you shall receive.
What I want to be and see, what I want to see and want, knowing God is by my side. There is nothing I need to know. Expand myself to know there is no one else but me and God who's in my heart.
Welcome back to Center of Light. Tonight, hanging out with my beautiful son, Mr. Eden Sky Blanche, as he calls
We
himself.
are back.
I'm going to put some music on in the background. I live in an industrial area, and there are so much noises that happen. I'm going to put on some music. Give me one moment. It's going to help drone it out. It's going to make it a little more pleasant as well. So, one moment. Good to see you. Tonight, we're talking about the third eye. The apple of my third eye. Having a little fun with an idea. Covers it up immediately. Kind of helps me to fall inside into a drone kind of a space. Hello, Priscilla. Everyone, welcome to Center of Light, hanging out with my son, Eden Scott. Tonight we're talking about the apple of my third eye, the ability to see. As Eden Sky said just a minute ago, the eyes are for taking in radiated light, what would you call seeing. The third physical sight, absolutely.
Yeah, physical sight.
Yes, and using the third eye, when we
When you
engage
open
it, when we open it, and how do we open it? By doing the work required,
Correct.
having an intention to want to see. And once we begin to tap in to that aspect of ourselves,
We begin to spiritually see.
to see. Not only can the third eye be used for seeing this way to a greater degree than these could ever, it's a 360 degree portal to take in not only what we call seeing. Using these is called seeing. Using the taste buds is called seeing. Using the heart is called seeing. Seeing is just an idea
Called
for taking
perception.
in perception. Taking in information. It's a way of taking in information. But it requires each and every one of us to be in a formation, to be in form, to be in a form. We call it information, to be informed. So these double and triple entendres show the truth and the evidence of as above, so below. If God is infinite, then on forever. Everything will continue to go and grow and show each and every one of us what we truly are. You can resist that current, or you can
don't
make
need
you don't have to whatsoever, or you can make yourself current, as I am doing currently, and I hope you are joining me. And together we, all of us,
We'll all
tap
see.
into. We'll all see. We tap into this force. Use the force. It's all around you. It's very simple philosophy. It doesn't negate nor exempt the punch of the subtlety that it is. And it requires moving ourselves out of the nonsense, the monkey that wants to yammer and tell us and
It wants to
dictate to us.
constantly thump against your head.
Right? And it wants to tell us what's happening. So, do we truly know what's happening? Or do we just believe the monkey? And so, tonight's presentation, we're talking about the apple of my third eye.
Ta-da.
We see the medical staff called the caduceus. The caduceus, if you look at let's look at the chassis of the caduceus. The chassis of the caduceus would be the rod itself. What do you think that represents? It was just something to have two cool looking gold serpents wrap around? No. The caduceus rod is your backbone. So the Western medical staff, caduceus, is actually Eastern influence created. It was just brought over. And so what do the serpents represent? It represents your DNA helix, the double helix of the DNA.
That's why there's two of them.
That's where there's two. That's correct. And as they move up, notice we go from the root or the base of the caduceus, the lower backbone, as you see at the bottom of the picture, and the snakes become entwined and entangled and a divine dance between masculine and feminine up the backbone. This is the practice of every spiritual being, whether you know you are doing this or not. What you want to have happen is that your DNA begins to expand, begins to exponentiate, begins to be encoded with RNA information and other light codes, so that your kundalini from the Eastern philosophy rises up your backbone, up the caduceus medical staff, until you become angelic-like. Hence the prophecy of heaven on earth. How do we create heaven on earth? We have to become the very embodiment of that heaven to anchor it on earth.
And I noticed something too. The angel wings, if you line it up to the chakras, it... Sorry, let me try that. When you see the angelic wings and you line it up against the chakras, it connects at the third eye chakra. Meaning, and essentially, that when you open your third eye, you are seeing into heaven.
You're seeing the angelic kingdom and that which is of a realm of light, that they call it angelic, that they call it the higher spiritual levels. So, absolutely, son. My gosh, boy, you're freaking your dad out. I love it. So, as we move up the caduceus, or as we raise the kundalini to the level of the angelic kingdom, to the level of true sight, what you're seeing in those 7 energy vortices on the right of your screen, the red all the way to the purple with the person in meditation, the one just below the purple is the gift of sight, true sight, spiritual sight. And the purple vortex you see above that is God. It's the seat of the soul. So the trick, the idea we must master is to raise our kundalini up the backbone, male and female dance, until we achieve a space of wholeness. And in wholeness, we no longer see male nor female, but we see the polarities, light, dark, male, female, in, out, up, down, hot, cold, good, bad, left, right. But we begin to see it for the truth, which is the wholeness that it is. We begin to open up the stargate for what it is. It's the path to God. I say this all the time, it's very valuable. I'm going to find this image.
Eventually.
There's a lot. And here it is. How do we become whole? How do we begin to see beyond the duality split? It costs you nothing. If you want to donate to my work, I do this pro bono. I will be doing this for the rest of my life, but soon I won't be so readily available. I know that sounds arrogant and cocky. My life is changing in a more broader sense. So I appreciate you being in my life so close in proximity. I will never leave you, and I hope you never leave me. So how do we gain true sight and move out of duality? That's the path. You can be radically transformed right here and right now. There is no other path. Because eventually, at some point in your future timeline, you're going to choose to be radically transformed. But you can do that right here and right now. So to be radically transformed, to gain true sight, be it now or over a linear timeline, understand that God, which is non-judgment, acceptance, allowance, and appreciation. If God is that, then it's about developing the that within you to the level that God is. That is how you gain true sight. And in that capacity to see, we lose all judgment. It doesn't exist. You see the world as unified. You no longer see black, white, man, woman, this, that. And the star begins to open up. You see the middle ground. See the middle ground. So as we look at this image again, the caduceus, let me share with you what the meaning of caduceus is. It's the actual image you just saw. with the rod, the two serpents intertwining, with the angel wings, with the eye. This is what the caduceus is by definition or by meaning. The caduceus is the symbol of Hermes, the Greek god of border and transition. Bringing that energy all the way up so that we can transition into the angelic realm with those angel wings. Later Romans adopted him as their god of commerce, currency, the ability, having worth, value, commerce, the ability to exchange, interchange, rearrange, and negotiation, and named him Mercury. So caduceus is the symbol of both Hermes and Mercury. It represents a staff, the backbone, entwined by two snakes and a pair of wings at the top. Now, as we look at this again, and we go from the Western medical understanding or intention of it, we take this to the Eastern philosophy, and we learn a little more about it from that perspective. Kundalini is described as a sleeping, when it's at the base of the spine, Kundalini is described as a sleeping, dormant potential force in the human organism. It is one of the components of an esoteric description of the subtle body, which consists of nadis, energy channels, chakras, psychic centers, and prana, subtle energy, and bindu, drops of spiritual essence. Kundalini is Hinduism. Kundalini in Hinduism is a form of divine energy believed to be located at the base of the spine. It is an important concept of Saiva Tantra, where it is believed to be a force or power associated with the divine feminine. So what this means, I'm sorry to tell you, but because I love you, church on Sunday is a very beautiful thing.
It is.
But there is more to it. Celebrating your Creator is a wonderful, beautiful thing. But we have to engage ourselves to where Creator itself celebrates our life. It's a shake hands deal. You can't reach Creator without Creator reaching back. It's a shake hands deal. So you can celebrate Creator through your Sunday worship, or whatever practice that you do spiritually. It's a beautiful way of celebrating your life as we initiate, integrate, and graduate into Creator itself. God has everything. The one thing it doesn't have
Is us.
God doesn't need anything. He has it all except our love. So there is a marriage. There is a dance. There is a mutual in. It's in here. In is up. Up is forward. Forward, toward. Inward is upward. Upward is forward. And forward is toward. So we have a mutual interest. There's something to be gained on both parties. Interest. When you pay interest at a bank, are you being paid interest? Because there is an exchange of currency. There is a current. There's a sea. There's a sea, an infinite sea, and it has a current, and we call that a currency. Current. See what I mean? There is a current, and when we move into that current without restriction, without infliction, the eye begins to open up. The chakras, all the way from the base to the top of our head, the crown chakra begins to open. Everything in this little Dollar Tree device I paid $1 for. Everything in this. You think this is just something that's just reflecting this cool thing that helps you to see?
Well, it is.
It is. But in this light is everything. And the light that you are is everything. People, and I understand used in context, we say that the light lives in us. That is true. But a greater truth is you are the light. Because if you were not the light itself, no one could see you. Because you are radiating, emitting radiated light, as to why John or Jill Doe can take you in to see you as a personified spirit, a human soul made flesh. So the light does not only live in you, it is you. You're radiating it. You cannot argue with that scientific law of physics fact, spiritual fact. You can paint yourself in a corner and you're not going to like yourself too much after what you did to yourself, but you will never escape the conundrum until you understand that you are the holy light. The only thing that's stopping you is you, and it's the monkey mind that we choose to keep playing with.
That holds you back.
It holds you into the vibe. What holds you, it grounds your energy. So it's great to be grounded as a spiritual being in the earth, because you're not trying to reach heaven. That's not what you're trying to do. It's not a high or a low. It's not an up or down. But let's use metaphors. You're not trying to reach heaven. You're trying to bring your spirit, which you are as your essence, into this body. So being grounded is wonderful. But being so out of balance and being on the earth, and never trying to be lofty, to move into this beautiful idea of your DNA increasing, that you erect yourself by using yourself to reach the highest ideal of yourself. You can be human all you want. It's okay to be human. There is no judgment. Do you want something lighter in nature? I am living in my higher nature, and that's where I am going to vessel myself. Children like children, young children like this, young adults like this, they're not like us in the older world. They're coming in with awareness and divine information intact. Some of them might need a little knock on the head, and some of them are knocking us on the head, like the heat does to me often, see? So tonight we're talking about the capacity to see, center of light seeing, the apple of my third eye. That being said, everyone in this room are apples of my third eye. I want to acknowledge everyone that just came on board. I see Cheryl, Lincoln, Zoya, Sutton, Elwood, my brother in Houma, Louisiana, or Chauvin. And Cheryl says, hello, Keith. Is that your handsome son? Yes, that's my beautiful son. Steve Cobb, my bass playing bro. Cheryl says, I think he's bored. I love her honesty. She gets a love poke. Be honest. How you feeling? Bored? It's not your thing? I love the honesty. I love the organicness. Hey, brother, you're welcome to do your thing, man. If that means on you, whatever you choose.
I'm good.
He's good. Cheryl, I truly appreciate that you engaged this honest dialogue. That's nice. Thank you. Oh, he definitely understands, and he's listening.
I do.
Judy says, very wise son you've got there. Yeah. Thank you. And Abigail says, I think it's fabulous that your son supports you and is present by your side. That is beautiful, and I will give you a love poke. Thank you. And I told him if he ever wants to do a something, whatever that something is, that's a shake hands deal. From father to son. From father to son or daughter. It's always a shake hands deal. And the level of whatever we believe is father or mother will either be a slap in the face, a desecration, or a resurrection to a place of ongoing meditation, elation, graduation, integration, initiation. It's all these beautiful ideas of simply wanting to see. Remember, your eyes see, but this also has the capacity for vision, not only in 360 direction, meaning a circle like this. We're talking 360 direction. You can use your third eye to see in other dimensions, all at the same time. How is that possible? because you are a whole being. You are wholeness. You're wholeness. Lincoln says, what is that stone around your neck? Oh, he's talking to Eden. Mine is called a Gaia stone or earth obsidian. Eden Sky, what is yours, sir? Speak up.
Mine is called a golden quartz. Ta-da.
Golden quartz. What are some of the properties of the golden quartz, my young Padawan?
As far as I remember, it aligns the chakras. And I think that's it.
And I think it also creates balance, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
Keith Anthony Blanchett, Yanava with Yanava
Jr.
Mike Jr. Hanging out, we're talking about seeing. It just requires simply the desire to look intentfully, just to look. The apple of my third eye. See those serpents? The apple of my third eye. The serpent near the apple tree when the male and the female energies were dancing towards higher consciousness, and that serpent appeared to them and says, take a bite. And God says,
there's nothing stopping you.
you can partake of any tree except the tree of
This-
knowledge of good and evil.
This one right here.
And when we did, or when they did, that we supposedly still getting blamed for, that's knuckleheaded nonsense, don't believe it. But taking the metaphorical bite of that apple implied that I am choosing to lose consciousness of the Godhead to dwell in the reality of choice. Good, bad, left, right, man, woman, hot, cold, all these ideas of duality. So before they supposedly did this thing, they were truly two different aspects of the same self as God, mirroring themselves to each other in a state of divine wholeness. The apple of my eye, with the serpents dancing all around us in temptation. We made the choice to say, I'm bored playing in eternity. It lasts so damn long. I want to go down to earth and have a little bit of redonkulous fun. And the consequences were set into motion. We lost sight. Never
We lost
were we...
this sight.
Absolutely. And we were never without the opportunity to gain true vision. I want to see again. I want to really see again. I'm doing it, and I'm diligent, and I'm passionate. Please feel free to, we got one more round. Please feel free to ask your questions. Everyone choose a question. Please don't make it any longer than a paragraph. Myself, or maybe
Me?
YNV and ESB
YNV Jr.
would love to share with you our heart space and what we see as a possible truth for ourselves, but for you as well. Stick around. Center of Light Seeing. Let's play one more song. Let's see. How about Eden Sky? What do you got?
I have no clue. Oh, see the light.
That's not a whole song. Give me another choice.
There we go.
I will be with you always. Until the end of time. You will never be alone. I am.
All of my life, all of my days, I feel you there beside me. All of my lives, all through my days, I've seen places far away. wondering just when, time and again, I have come to know you. Wondering just when, time and again, you are there beside me. When I create, when I feel love, whenever I feel you with me, I celebrate times of my life. There is only you and me. Help me know that.
It is my will that you know me. I will not hide my love from you. You create your reality, and every moment by your own perceptions, your judgments, actions. Peace is a state of mind. Bliss is a state of heart. Heaven is a state of being.
Deep in my heart, I know you're there. I can always feel you guiding my life to see the light that will lead me to the truth. When I create, when I feel love, whenever I feel you with me, I celebrate times of my life. There is only you and me. For you are my mother,
My soul.
my divine lover. I celebrate times of my life. There is only you and me. Help me live.
Welcome back to Center of Light, hanging out with my beautiful son, Mr. Eden Sky. Whew, long day. Quite a few days. Yeah. Yeah. Tonight we've been talking about the apple of my third eye. I see a couple of really, really good questions. My beautiful friend Joyce asked the question, I see broken mirrors in my third eye. What does that mean? I want to share with you right off the bat, dear sister. Don't let the word broken fool you into believing it's a bad thing. Many years ago in a sleep experience, I was truly at my higher self. I was the pinpoint of awareness, looking at all these different movie possibilities in a movie house. Go watch a movie at the theater. You can choose center number 1 all the way to 20. And I was in the middle and I can go down any one, but I found myself steadfast focused on the life I know as Keith Anthony Blanchard. But I could see all these other movie theaters all around me. All I have to do is turn and go one of the halls and one to the venues. That's all I have to do. So what I'm saying is you're seeing your fragmented self. That's not a bad thing either. You are the wholeness. That is what you are, looking through a multifaceted lens. And guess what? It's readily available for you that if you want to look at this fragment of this fractal of yourself, you can see. You can see 1,000 years ago and what it was like to be you. Or you can look at this fractal of yourself and see your grandmother who's living on another dimension right now because she passed 10 years ago. You have the ability to choose what portal you want to venture, move through. Really. I think it's a phenomenal thing. She also, Debbie, I see you asked a question as well. Steve Stone, what's up, bro? Ham sandwich. Good night, Cheryl. Thank you. Thanks for the links. John Berthelot, what's up, my Cajun bro? Ham sandwich. How about them Saints? Who that?
Who that?
Who that?
Who is that?
Zoya says, can you use your third eye telepathy readings? If you're asking me if you can use your third eye to do readings, well, the answer is absolutely yes, because telepathy and third eye opening is a natural state. And in that natural state, if you can see everything everywhere just by simply using your will, it would be a redonkulously amazing reading. Absolutely. It's more of your true nature, the ability to see. Psychics have the ability to see. Fortune tellers, readers, spiritually gifted people have the ability to see. Absolutely. Great question.
It's called sight.
It's called sight. Debbie, I love your question. She says, Keith, what are your third eye exercises? I don't. Maybe I should. Some do help. There are exercises do work, because it's really not the exercise, which does really have an effect. Even so, it's a paradox, but it's the intention. For example, let's say the truth is, everyone says, did you know if you do this, you can open your third eye? I'm not saying that doesn't work, but what is causing you to do that is your intention to do that. So it's really the intention
of doing it that makes you...
that opens it up.
That has it happen.
That's right. And so that would be a great idea. In fact, tap on your third eye. Everyone, if you would, just tap. Left hand, please. Spiritual side. Just tap. What you're doing is you're intending that eye to open. Yes, lack of fluoride would help. Stop using Colgate and all those fluoride toothpaste. Just tap. So what you're saying is, God, open me up so I can truly see your reality. That's what you're saying. And when you stop, do you not feel yourself still tapping there? Don't you feel it? Don't you feel it hyper-energized because of an awareness you created by your intention? And therefore, it begins to say, I'm responding to your intention, Keith. I'm your third eye, and I'm following your command. Ya, heart, will, God. Na, mind, intellect, reasoning carries it out, and Va is the backbone. Va, I'm taking action, bringing forth my will. So I really don't have a practice to answer your question, beautiful lady, except I intend every day when I sit in this chair to commune with my Lord, my God, my Savior, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Nanak, Satya Sai Baba, Swamiji, my son, everything that's beautiful, you. I intend all the time. So I'm constantly in a state of communion or meditation, always intending my eye, my heart, my being, myself to be split in half, so I can see the wholeness in that those halves of myself. Thank you for that ride. That was a wonderful roller coaster. I enjoyed it. I'm going to check any more questions. Waverly, my friend, hello. And I think myself and my beautiful son are going to eat some food.
Yum.
And we're going to say how much we love you. Zoya, you're welcome. Hello, Tiffany Wolford Holt. I'm coming to find Tiffany Wolford Holt. If we're not friends, Tiffany, you're being warned. I'm coming to stalk you right now. No, I'm coming to friend request you if we're not friends yet. And it says, Tiffany. And it says we're friends. Hi, Tiff. I know that you are a spiritualist by trade. Oh, I'm looking at your profile. You're a realtor for sure. And so, hello everyone, Tiffany as well. Lincoln says, great show. Debbie says, I love that answer. You know, you can make it up. You can say, when I drink this water, I'm going to open my vessel in such a way, God, the life giver, synonymous with water. We know water is life. We're made of 90 whatever percent of water. God is life. God is water. When I drink this water, when I drink this God, as I take it in, this cup of life, Holy Grail, you make it happen with your will. Lincoln says, great show, young man. Tonight was sort of a test for me to be with my son. First time in this way. Second time in this way. But to test my new computer, getting it all back in order, I have 0 drop frames. Not 1 dropped frame.
One singular. One.
So thank you. I appreciate you spending time with me, letting me spend time with you, and together we get to play in the Garden of Soul again. You are loved beyond measure. It is my pleasure to hang out with you. In this treasure we call life. Eden Sky, you want to say something to these people? I will be seeing you soon. Thursday night, I'm going to be interviewing Haley. I don't remember her last name. We're going to be talking about lucid dreams. My God, it's going to blow your mind. This young girl is on fire. You want to connect consciously and truly see into another dimension of your own self? She will tell you exactly how to do that. I'll see you soon. Peace, love, and always live in the light. You're in the light already. Why not just do it consciously? See you soon.